Fallacy. Reported by
Janelle C. Sarsaba.
Mary Jane S. Michon.
and Raul Johan C. Lamostre. A fallacy is a mistaken belief based on unsound arguments. They derive from reasoning that is logically incorrect, thus undermining an argument's validity. Types of fallacies. Hasty generalization. Hasty generalization is making assumptions about a whole group or range of cases based on a sample that is inadequate, usually because it is atypical or too small. An example of this is Kevin's grandparents do not know how to use a computer. Kevin thinks that all older people must be computer illiterate. This example commits to the fallacy hasty generalization because Kevin now thinks that all old people don't know how to use a computer, although he only experienced this with his grandparents. Another example of this is, on the first day of high school, Mark runs into a cheerleader who calls him a name and tells him to move out of her way. Mark decides all cheerleaders are snobs. This example commits to the fallacy hasty generalization because Mark stereotyped that all cheerleaders are snobs even though he only encountered one. Missing the point. The premises of an argument do support a particular conclusion, but not the conclusion that the arguer actually draws. An example of this is, there are many angry riots occurring in the streets. Therefore, we must start killing people that gather in groups larger than 3. When people who are more than 3 gather together, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are bad. The speaker is missing the point. The group of people may only be hanging out or might even be planning to go to the mall. Another example of missing the point is, the forest fire will continue burning faster than we can contain it. Therefore, we should just burn the whole forest now and get it over with. Once again, the example is completely missing the point. Although the fire spreads faster than the firemen can contain, they shouldn't give up, because these forests serves as a shelter for animals and even supply us with oxygen.
Posthop. Posthop is derived from the Latin phrase post hoc ergo propter hoc, which translates to after this, therefore because of this. This type of fallacy occurs when it is assumed that because one thing happened after another, it must have happened as a result of it. For example, Sia wore her favorite necklace and aced her exams. This necklace must be lucky. Explanation. There is a clear correlation between the two, but it is not necessarily the cause. Correlation isn't the same as causation. Example. The temperature has dropped since Saturday and I also have a headache. The cold weather must be the cause of it. As I said before, there is a clear correlation between the temperature and the headache, but it is not necessarily the cause. So we are not certain that the cold weather must be the cause of the headache. Slippery slope. A slippery slope argument takes an initial premise and sees it through a chain of consequences until you arrive at extreme outcomes. Example, if we provide free healthcare, then where does it stop? Soon, people will be asking for free cars, free cell phones, free food, and free everything. The more people get free stuff, the less they will work. Explanation. There is little empirical evidence to support its conclusions. Another example is, I cannot make an exception for you, or else I would have to make an exception for others in the class. Eventually, I would have to make exceptions for everyone else and then the rules would be utterly useless. Explanation. This argument is fallacious because it treats the issue as if everyone always has to be granted an exception equally. Sometimes, exceptions to rules are reasonable and will not set a precedent for
Weak analogy. A weak analogy occurs when a person draws a comparison between two concepts, situations, or things to link them together in an argument, even though the connection between the two is not strong enough to make the case. It's a type of fallacy or flaw that can damage an argument. Example 1. Investing in the stock market is really no different from buying a lottery ticket or playing a slot machine at the casino. You're just gambling your money on some random choice, hoping to hit it big. Explanation. It's true that both buying a stock and buying a lottery ticket involves spending money, with the hope of making more money. The difference is that buying a lottery ticket or playing a slot machine is purely a game of chance, and one with very poor odds at that. Investing in the stock market involves an element of risk, but it's also much more complicated and extends well beyond random chance. Example 2. Running the country is no different from running a business. It's irresponsible to keep burying the nation in deeper and deeper debt. Explanation. Both federal governments and private companies have balance sheets. Money comes in and money comes out. A business pays for rent, wages, and supplies just as a government might pay for military and schools. A government collects taxes just like how a business earns money from sales. The overreaching objective, however, is entirely different. The goal of a business is to turn a profit, but government isn't looking for a way to make money, whereas a business needs to concern itself with the return on investment. A government may spend money where there may not be an immediate tangible return. Appeal to authority. Insisting that a claim is true simply because a valid authority or expert on the issue said it was true, without any supporting evidence offered. Example 1. Richard Dawkins, an evolutionary biologist and perhaps the foremost expert in the field, says that evolution is true. Therefore, it's true. Explanation. Richard Dawkins certainly knows about evolution, and he can confidently tell us that it is true, but that doesn't make it true. What makes it true is the preponderance of evidence for the theory. Example 2. How do I know the adult film industry is the third largest industry in the United States? Derek Slongmeister, the adult film star of over 50 years, said it was. That's how I know. Explanation. Slongmeister may be an industry expert, as well as have a huge talent, but a claim such as that one made will require supporting evidence. For the record, the adult film industry may be large, but on a scale from 0 to 12 inches, it's only about a fraction of an inch.